We all want success in life. For that, we have to adopt and grow good and effective habits. I recommend starting the path by reading Stephen Covey's best selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the episode 6 of our book review series, and here we will be talking about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the great Stephen Covey. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey is a self improvement book. It is written on Covey's belief that the way we see the world is entirely based on our perceptions. In order to change a given situation, we must change ourselves. In order to change ourselves, we must be able to change our perceptions. So, let us talk about the word perceptions. Perceptions is the window through which we see the world, and for that we must keep our window clean. Let me make yourself understand by giving an example. When I was in school, my teacher every day scolds me for no reason. I was always unhappy in searching for why my teacher always disappointed with me. But in today, after 25 years, I had become a successful man. While thinking of all those things, I could realize that all those hard works of my teacher made me all the way to reach where I am today. The only thing changed me after these 25 years is my perception about my teacher. The book opens an explanation of how many individuals who have achieved a high degree of outward success still find themselves struggling with an inner need of developing personal effectiveness and growing healthy relationship with people. Covey believes the way we see the world is entirely based on our perception. In order to change the given situation, we must change ourselves. And in order to change ourselves, we must be able to change our perception. In studying over 200 years of literature on the concept of success, Covey identified the very important change in the way that humans have defined success over time. In earlier times, the foundation of success rested upon character ethics, things like integrity, humanity, fidelity, temperance, courage, justice, patience, industry, simplicity, modesty, and the golden rule. Facing problem in understanding the golden rule? Click on the I button to check one of our shorts in which we have explained the golden rule. Now let us come back. But starting around the 1920s, the way people viewed success shifted towards the Covey called personality ethic, where success is function of personality, public image, attitude and behaviors. These days, people look for quick fixes. They see a successful person, team, or organize and ask, how do you do it? Teach me your technique. But these shortcuts that we look for, hoping to save time and effort and still achieve the desired result, are simply band aids that will yield short term solutions but not long term gains. They do not address the underlying condition. The way we see the problem is the problem. Covey writes, we must allow ourselves to undergo paradigm shift, to change ourselves fundamentally and not just alter our altitudes and behaviors on the surface level. In order to achieve true change, that is why 7 habits of effective people comes in. Habit 1, 2, 3 are focused on self mastery and moving from dependence to independence. Habit 4, 5, 6 are focused on developing teamwork, collaboration, and communication skills and moving from independence to interdependence. Habit 7, the most important one, focus on the continuous growth and improvement of embodies all of the other habits. What are those 7 habits? First, be proactive. Second, with the end in mind. I repeat, begin with the end in mind. Third, put first thing first. Fourth, Think win-win. Fifth, seek first to understand, then to be understood. 6. Synergize. 7. Sharpen the saw. First, be proactive. We are in charge of the script by which our life will go on. Use this self-awareness to be proactive and take responsibility of your choice. I am repeating the above sentence. We are in charge of the scripts by which our lives will go on. And we have to use this self-awareness to be proactive and take responsibility of our choices. The first habit that Covey discusses in being proactive, what distinguishes us as humans from all other animals, is our inherent ability to examine our own character, to decide how to view ourselves and our situation, and to control our own effectiveness. Put simply, in order to be effective, one must be proactive. Reactive people take a passive stance. They believe the world is treating them bad. They say things like, there is nothing I can do. That is just the way I am. They think problem is out there, but the thought is the problem. Reactive becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy, and reactive people feel increasingly victimized and out of control. Proactive people have recognized they have responsibility or responsibility, which Covey defines as the ability to choose how you will respond to a given situation or stimulation. Covey says an exceptional statement that says it is our willing permission, our consent to what happens to us, that hurts us far more than what had happened to us in the first place. I repeat the statement. It is our willing permission of our consent to what happens to us that hurts us far more than what happened to us in the first place. If you do not understand it, please listen it again in a slower mode. In order to be proactive, we must focus on the circle of influence that lies within our circle of concern. In other words, we must work on things we can do something about. Here comes the questions: how to make myself proactive? I am giving you some steps. By practicing them, you can make yourself proactive. Step number 1. Start replacing reactive language with proactive language. He makes me so bad is a reactive language. What is the proactive language? I control my own feelings. Second, convert reactive tasks into proactive tasks. Moreover, I would like to request you to subscribe to our channel and comment down below the thoughts of you on these books. And also, we want your suggestion which book we should review next. Here comes the habit number 2. Begin with the end in mind. Start with a clear destination in mind. Covey says, we use our imagination to develop a vision of what we want to become and use our conscience to decide what values will guide us. Most of us find it rather easy to busy ourselves. We work hard to achieve victories, promotions, higher income, more recognition, but we often stop to evaluate the meaning behind this busyness. Behind these victories, we don't ask ourselves if these things that we focus on so intently are what really matters to us. Habit 2 suggests that in everything we do, we should begin with the end in mind. Start with a clear destination. What is my destination? That is, for an example, my destination is Rolls-Royce, and I have a clear picture in my mind that that is the goal. And I am not saying that I will stop when I reach there. No, but till now, till I have not reached there, that is my destination. This is the way we can make sure the steps we are taking are in the right direction. Covey emphasizes that our self-awareness empowers us to shape our own lives. instead of living our lives by default or based on the standard of preferences of others. Beginning with the end in mind is also extremely important for business. Being a manager is about optimizing for efficiency, but being a leader is about setting the right strategy, right vision for your organization in the first place and asking, what are you trying to accomplish? What are we trying to accomplish? This is the right question a manager or a leader should ask to his or her team. Before we as individuals or organization can start setting and achieving goals, we must be able to identify our values. This process may involve some rescripting to be able to assert our own personal values. Rescripting, Covey explains, is recognizing ineffective scripts that have been written for you by your destiny and changing those scripts by proactively writing new ones that are built on your own values and ethics. It is so important to identify our center. What is the center of our life will be the source of the security, guidance, wisdom, and power. Let us challenge ourselves to test the principle of beginning with the mind. Let us challenge ourselves to test the principle of beginning with the end in mind by doing the following. Visualize in rich details your own funeral. Who is there? What are they saying about you? About how you lived your life? About the relationship you had? What do you want them to say? Think about how your priorities would change if you had only 30 more days to live. Start living by these priorities. Second point, break down different roles in your life, whether professional, personal, or community, and list 3 to 5 goals you want to achieve for each professional, personal, and community of yourself. Define what scares you. Public speaking, sports, games, anything. Define what scares you. Then write down the worst case scenario for your biggest fear. Then visualize how you will handle this situation. Write down exactly how you will handle, not a jumpy bumpy words. Just write down pinpoint answer, how to answer it or how to handle it. Put first things first. In order to manage ourselves effectively, we must put first things first. We must have to discipline to prioritize our day-to-day actions based on what it is important or what it is urgent. In Habit 2, we discuss the importance of determining our values and understanding what is or what are setting out to achieve. Habit 3 is about actually going after these goals and executing it on priorities on day-to-day and moment-to-moment basis. In order to maintain discipline and focus to stay on track towards our goal, we need to have the willpower to do something when we do not want to do it. We need to act accordingly to our values rather than our desires or impulses at any given moment. The key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. It is a very important statement. Listen it carefully. I am saying it again. The key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Then the habit number 4. Think win-win. In order to establish interdependent relationship, we must commit to create win-win situations that are mutually beneficial and satisfying to each party. Covey explains there are 6 paradigms of human interaction: win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win, win-win, or no deal. First of all, win-win. Both people win. Agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial and satisfying to both parties. Point 2. Win-lose. If I win, you lose. Win-lose people are prone to use positions power, credentials, and personality to get their way. Lose win. I lose, you win. Lose win people are quick to please and applies and seek strength from popularity or acceptance. Lose lose. Both people lose. When two win lose peoples get together, that is when two determined, stubborn, ego invested individuals interact. The result is lose lose. Win. People with win mentality do not necessarily want someone else to lose. That is irrelevant. What matters is that they get what they want. Win-win or no deal. If you can't reach an agreement that is mutually beneficial, there is no deal. The best option among all of these six is win-win situation. With win-lose or lose-win, one person appears to get what he wants for the moment, but the result will be negatively impact the relationship between those peoples going forward in life. The win-win or no deal option is important to use as backup when we have no deal as an option in our mind. It liberates us from needing to manipulate people and push our own agenda. We can open and really try to understand the underlying issues. To go for win-win, you not only have to be nice, you have to be courageous. Think about an upcoming interaction where you will be attempting to reach an agreement or solution. Write down a list of what the other people is looking for. Next, write a list next to that of how you can make an offer to meet those needs. Second, identify three important relationships in your life. Think about what you feel the balance is in each of those relationships. Do you give more than you take? Take more than you give? Write down 10 ways to always give more than you take. Point 3. Deeply consider our own interaction tendencies and Are they win-lose or whatever? How does that affect our interaction with others? Can you identify the source of that approach? Determine whether or not this approach serves you well in the relationships. Fifth habit. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Before we can offer advice, suggestions, solutions, or effectively interact with other persons in any way, we must seek to deeply understand them and their perspective through empathic listening. Let us say you go to an optometrist and tell him that you have been having trouble seeing clearly. And he takes up his glass, hands them to you and says, "Here, try this. They have been working for me for years. You put them all, but they only makes the problem worse." What are the chances you would go back to that optometrist? Unfortunately, we do same thing in our everyday interaction with others. We prescribe solutions before we diagnose the problem. We don't seek deeply understand the problem first. The habit 5 says that we must seek first to understand, then to be understood. In order to seek to understand, we must learn to listen. Habit 6. Synergies. By understanding and valuing the differences in other person's perspective, we have the opportunity to create synergy, which allows us to uncover new possibility through openness and creativity. The combination of all other habits prepares us to our habit 6, which is the habit of synergy. For example, if you plant two plant clones together, their root will commingle and improve the quality of soil. So, both the plants will grow better than they would have done on their own. Synergy allows us to create new alternatives and new open possibilities and allows us to work as a collective group to ditch our old script and write new ones. So, How can we introduce synergy to a given situation or environment? Start with habit 4 and 5. You must think win-win and seek first to understand the other one. Once you have these things in mind, you can pool your desires with those of other persons or group. And then you are not opposite side of the problem. You are together on one side looking at the problem, understanding all the needs and working to create a third alternative that will meet both of them. What we end up is not a transaction but transformation. Both sides get what they want and they build their relationship in the process. By putting forth a spirit of trust and safety, we will promote others to become extremely open and feed on each other's insights and idea, creating synergy. The real essence of synergy is valuing the difference, the mental, emotional, and psychological differences between people. We seek first to understand, then we find strength and utility in those different perspectives in order to create new possibilities and win-win results. Synergy allows us to value difference in other people as a way to expand our perspective, sidestep negative energy, and look for the good in others. Exercise courage in interdependent situations to be open and encourage together to be open. Catalyze creative and find a solution that would be better for everyone, looking for a third alternative. Last and the seventh habit, sharpen the saw. To be effective, we must devote the time renewing ourselves physically, spiritually, mentally, and socially. Continuous renewal allows us to synergetically increase our ability to practice each habit. Habit 7 focuses around renewal or taking time to sharpen the saw. It surrounds all of the other habits and makes each one possible by preserving and enhancing our greater assets. These are 4 dimensions of our nature, each must be exercised regularly in balanced way. Physical dimension. The goal of continuous physical improvement is to exercise body in a way that will enhance our capacity to work and adapt and enjoy. To renew ourselves physically, we must eat well, get sufficient rest, and relax. Focus on physical dimension helps develop habit 1, muscles of Focusing on the physical dimension helps develop habit 1, muscles of proactive. We act based on the value of well-being instead of reacting to the forces that keeps us from fitness. Spiritual dimension. The goal of renewing our spiritual is to self-provide leadership to our life and reinforce your commitment to our valuable system. To renew your spirituality, you can practice daily meditation, communicate with nature, immerse yourself in great literature or music. Mental dimension. The goal of renewing our mental health is to continue expanding our mind. To renew ourselves, you can read good literature, keep a journal of your thoughts, experience, and insights. Social and emotional dimension. The goal of renewing ourselves socially is to develop meaningfulness towards relationships. Seek to deeply understand other people, make contributions to meaningful projects. That's all. And now, this is the end of the book, The Great 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. By the way, if you like our review, then don't forget to hit that red color subscribe button and that bell notification to get notified as soon as we upload a video. And if you have any other book in your mind, please